right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's call the Water and Lake Commission meeting to order for August 22nd, 2024. Please call roll.
Commissioner Grindy?
Yes.
Commissioner Quirk?
Yeah.
Commissioner Riopel?
Yes.
Thank you. Approved minutes from previous meeting, August 7th.
I'll move. Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yeah.
Riopel?
Yes.
Bills and payroll.
I'll move. Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yeah.
Riopel?
Yes.
Nothing from the public. Reports, Mr. Todd.
Good morning.
Morning, Todd.
Morning.
I have a few items on my list here to update you on. 2023 miscellaneous, really nothing new on that. Still waiting for punch lists to get finished up and contract closed out, so it's taking a little longer than I thought, but hopefully we'll get that done yet this year. 2024 miscellaneous, North Holt did finish up the industrial park circuits 4 and 5, so those have been replaced. Tyler will probably have an update for you on what Water and Light did, but I think we're all good to go on those.
Yep.
Holt is going to be out of town probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, trying to catch up on some of their other clients that they've been putting off since we had to get that industrial park circuit done. So once they get back, they'll finish up that fiber project on the point. And then, like I said, last meeting, we may have another project for them, just a little short tie line to do that we'll add in. But on that, we got a little work to do. Probably got to get an easement. And then we'll probably have to have a change order because there's a couple of units that we don't have in the contract right now. So we'll have to get pricing on those to do the work. But we still should be able to get everything wrapped up before the end of September, which is substantial completion on that contract. So that's looking good. Business Highway 2 lighting. Steve's waiting on me to get him the final drawings for that so he can send them in to MnDOT so they can do their thing on that. So hopefully we'll get that done this week yet. And then I've got the spec to finish up for the construction, but we've got a little bit of time left on that. Miscellaneous, we did get bushing quotes in for the industrial park sub, the spare bushing we were looking at for the transformer. So I'm going to be sending that purchase order in today. Just for information, that's going to be from Wesco, and it was just short of $8,600. So, and delivery was good, 10 to 12 weeks, so not too bad. And that, we did get the rest of the quotes for that crystal sugar equipment we were looking at getting for the beet freeze metering. The new beet freeze metering point they're looking at doing. Got the estimates put together. Just trying to set up a meeting now with Crystal to go over that with them and then get their blessing that that's what they want to do so we can get that equipment ordered. So that's long lead time on that stuff. So was out yesterday with Seth updating his handhold details. Still got probably half a day left on that, but probably won't be done today with the rain. And then I've got some cost of service stuff I got to get done for Vienna at the end of the month. So.
Not a dull moment, is there?
Nope. Which is good. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So.
I hear ya.
That's pretty much all I have, unless there's questions.
Any questions for Todd?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Forrester.
You're welcome.
Steve.
Good morning.
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 Well, not a lot on the water and light side, I guess, but the one thing we have been working on is the lead service line inventory. All that's been put into a GIS system, so we've been kind of reviewing that, making sure everything was as accurate as we could get it. Want to thank Tyler and Brianna, been a big help as part of that too. So that's all got to be submitted now to Department of Health by August 30th. Again, like we've reported, we do know that we have 8 lead service lines on the, the homeowner side from the curb stop to the home. That'll eventually, have to be taken care of, but again, just this initial submittal health again is August 30th. We'll get everything submitted by then, and then I guess see where everything falls after that as far as funding and everything goes, so that's really on the water and light side all I have.
Any questions for Steve?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Gallstad.
Well, good morning. Steve and I were here yesterday morning at 8:02. No. We looked at each other and said, it's 2 minutes to 8. How come we're the only ones here?
Missed the memo.
But other than that, I have not a whole lot to report. I do have the ESS, the earned sick and safety time policy being finalized right now, so I should have that for you for the next meeting. Still working with the city on any solar ordinance. I've got a draft that I'm going to be getting to Nancy, I believe, next week, and that's about it.
Any questions for Ron? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Old business, nothing. Minnesota EAP agreement.
Good morning.
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 East Grand Forks Water and Light, we work closely with Tri-Valley on their Minnesota Energy Assistance Program, and we signed this agreement with them annually to continue that working relationship. A couple years ago, they did move it to an electronically sign, but I did attach a copy of the document in the packet. And then the last 3 years, we've done $2,000 to their program that's separate from their energy assistance, and it's called Reach Out for Warmth. And so Reach Out for Warmth is funded by donations from local businesses, churches, energy vendors, to help with customers that have depleted any other resources that are available. And then we do include this as part of our energy and load management budget. And so recommendation is to approve and have staff electronically sign the Minnesota Energy Assistance Program agreement and approve the $2,000 contribution to Reach Out for Warmth.
I'll move on that. Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy.
Yes.
Quirk.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes. Just one quick question.
Yeah.
2,000 is used here in East Grand Forks, correct?
Correct. And I did actually talk with staff there just last Thursday, Friday timeline. Yep, and they do work on getting it back to residents in East Grand Forks.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep, because they do have other counties and other cities that they work with, but they kind of try to keep them local to that area from where donations come from. So the intent is we plan on putting something in our newsletter coming up too, and so if residents feel like they would like to donate to the program as well, that is an option too, and then again, it would come back to residents in East Grand Forks. So yep. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, proposed 2025 5-year capital plan and operation maintenance budget.
Yes, so a week ago I dropped off hard copies for 3 of you, and then I sent electronic copies to all of you. That consisted of key points, which I will go over, but it also consisted of the capital improvements, 5-year plan, and then the electric and the water O&M expenses. And so we're not making any decisions at this meeting. Well, you have 2 weeks here till the next commission meeting to make any changes or things that you'd like to do. But what I thought I would do at this meeting is I will go over the key points for the 2025 budget. With that being said, electric expenses. Wholesale power costs increases for 2025 are as follows, and there actually aren't any increases. MMPA is presently proposing no increases. WAPA is presently proposing a slight reduction to the drought adder component and no increases to the rates, so that's good news because that's a big portion of our budget. That's about half or in that area. And so, and then electric expenses also, wages and benefits. We've plugged in 4% for increase for water and light employees. Proposed overall electric fund expenses increase of $504,487 or 2.94% compared to 2024. So that 2.94% is the O&M part of O&M. So, and then the electric revenue, assuming rates at 2024 level, Brianna calculates that for me. 2025 electric revenue is presently estimated to come in at $194,522, or 0.012% higher than the 2024 revenue. So it's looking good. I mean, anytime you can keep that under 3%, I think that's pretty good nowadays. The water expenses, wages and benefits, 4% increase for all water and light employees. Proposed overall water fund expense increase of $142,548, which is a little over 4.5% compared to 2024. Yeah, and then assuming rates the same as 2024, the 2025 revenue is presently estimated to come in flat. And that's typically the way that one is. It's maybe flat or a little lower sometimes, so that's not so bad. And then the 5-year capital plan, we're proposing a total of $1,074,932 of capital improvements in 2025. And each one is broken out individually, and I won't go into that. You've got that in your document that I handed out here. So. And lastly, I added in another. The health insurance is something that we've been watching in the last few years. 17% seems like a lot, but it's less than the previous year. And I think the city is working on alternative options there. I think you're looking into some stuff. Tim probably knows more than I do about that.
Looking into it, but it isn't looking good.
All right. So at this point, we budgeted in a 17% increase. That's typically split 50-50. We've always did that in the past with our union contracts. So that's about what I have. Again, there's no decision or action item today. It's just more to get you up to speed and see if you got any initial questions. But a lot of hard work's been put in by department heads and Brianna, and it makes it pretty easy for me. I just kind of review it and look at it and pass it on to you. So I think the staff has did a pretty good job. Numbers are pretty reasonable, and it's pretty easy to calculate an increase off these numbers. I think right now, Brianna and I will go over the rates. She'll get them printed out. But, I mean, I'm thinking maybe we do 3% for the electric and 5% for the water as far as an increase. And that's just to kind of, the reserve is right where we want it, but we have the water fund that's a little low yet, and that's why we want to keep that at the 5 mark. And 3% for the electric, I feel good about that. Maybe next year, if things work out the way we want them to with development and things like that, maybe we could drop that a little bit next year. But 5 and 3, I don't think is too out of line. But we'll see where the rates come in, and maybe we'll have some tweaking. But I don't think it's going to go any higher than that number. I mean, we've looked at our sheets, and we're not losing money. So that's kind of where we're at. But the rates, you won't decide that till the first part of December, end of November, somewhere in there.
With the new meters, are we capturing anything more? Anything
Well, it sounds like with the water, I think I could maybe let Tyler speak to that, or Brian, but it sounds like we have more efficient meters, so now we pick up low flows better with the water side of it, and of course, when you got newer meters, they're going to be more accurate, so that would go that way with the electric as well.
Right.
The other thing it helps is that we can, when we have late payments and things like that, we can disconnect from in the office now, and we're more responsive to customers when we turn them off, turn them on, things like that. So, you know, we're sitting pretty good for all the things that we've done, and I've said this, I'm repeating myself, but sometimes you should do that. Electric, water meters have been replaced, except for a few of we're still waiting on some of the water and very few of the electric, if any. And then the load control receivers, we've changed those out. Street lights, we've changed those out. I mean, you know, we've got a lot of projects that have been done, and so we're setting ourselves up pretty good for the next several years.
Good.
So if you got any questions for me, what will happen is you have a couple weeks. You can talk to me anytime, or reach out to Brianna if I'm not there, and get some numbers if you need them. And then 2 weeks from now, I'll be coming back to get approval for what we end up with.
Questions for Keith?
No.
Thank you,
Look
sir.
good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, move on to department heads. Tyler, let's hear all about it.
Morning.
Morning, buddy. Morning.
Just to touch on what Keith was saying with the water meters, we've noticed, and Brianna's done a lot of work with this too, she's been doing a water leak report, along with Corey as well. we've been able to actually contact a lot of the customers that have a toilet that's leaking or something that's leaking that's showing constant usage, that's been able to contact them, get it fixed so that they aren't leaking water, we're not losing water, and helping everything out in the long run with that as well. So sometimes it's tough to explain to the customers, but usually when you do find it, they're very appreciative, and it's helped out quite a bit. So
It costs them money.
yeah, exactly. So other than that, as Todd mentioned, North Holt's were able to complete the industrial park circuit 4 and 5. Our crews were able to stay close behind them throughout this summer, terminating where as needed. Last week and this week we were able to energize both circuits. Both circuits feed American Crystal Sugar, and as you can tell, Crystal Sugar fired up last week. So that was a big relief having those 2 circuits on for them. Next couple weeks we got a couple trenching jobs. We finished one on Tuesday, and we got 3 more coming up on the south end. With the water meters, we've been able to change them out as appointments are available. That's kind of been the tough part, is getting the appointments. We're kind of looking into some of the commercial ones where we can get to them, where we can help them out. We have. Yep, just kind of slowly picking away, just being that annoying nagging, hey, we're here to change your meter out if we can get in there. So it's been a process, but we're still picking away at them. And as Steve said, the water guys and I, we helped him with a few questions he's had about the water service lines, the residential and commercial, for that lead service replacement. Along with that, just any day-to-day electrical and water maintenance issues, where turning off curb stops, checking meters, all that kind of stuff. So that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Anything for? Thank you, big guy.
Thank you.
Brian.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Within the last couple of weeks, excuse me, we had some contractors at the plant just doing their scheduled quarterly maintenance. Some of which was Custom Air was in, and they typically service our heating and cooling equipment as well as our plant dehumidifier, and then Absolute Refrigeration was in to perform the maintenance on the compressor for our carbon dioxide feed equipment. And then also Monday and Tuesday of this week, the chlorine scrubber rehabilitation project got completed. So we've got all that media put in there now, and we should be good for the foreseeable future on that system. So it was good to get that behind us. And then lastly, earlier this week, I attended the Minnesota Municipal Utility Association conference. That took place in Fargo. That's the first time I've been to that one, and I did find that informative and a rewarding experience. But other than that, I guess that's all I have, unless you guys have some questions.
Any questions for Brian? No. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Brianna.
I'll try to be quick, but I have a few things. So yeah, one more quick thing on water meters that, thanks to the help of Kristen, it's important that our billing staff are constantly looking at bills and meters and seeing if that makes sense or not. So she's cut some that, maybe they quit reading. So work with Todd and Tyler to get those out and get those changed out sooner rather than later. So that's been a big part of that too. I've been busy updating a bunch of tracking spreadsheets that kind of help with budgeting and rates and all that kind of stuff. Sent the rates document to Todd Forrester, so then once you guys adopt the budget, I put all that in and then work with Keith on figuring out, kind of where we want to have things land there. MMUA conference the last couple days was really good. Seeing some people that I had met the last conference last summer, and then networking with some new people. I learned a lot about how different Public power utilities, where they buy their power from, what their rates are. Talked a lot with some about, water rates, and, some are really low and they're like, why are we losing money? And some are really high, and, just the expense, involved with them is maybe a little more. But it's been important with your guys' support and having a proactive replacement for all of our system and that kind of stuff. That's been huge, I think, and setting us up better maybe than some other utilities. So that's been great. Been working with Corey, Kristen, and the rest of the IT guys on some meetings for new software. Went over utility billing and cash receipting. A lot of moving pieces in those two. So that those were really good meetings. Need to still do some accounts payable, receivable, general ledger, payroll, and HR. So those are next up on the list, and then hopefully to get an RFP out. Because we'll need to get moving on that. So yeah, I asked a lot of different people about what different software vendors they use, and some have some very, very robust systems. And so I'm excited to see what options are available, and then we'll just have to figure out on the price tag will be the biggest thing, I think, because those robust systems, they come at an expense.
Software's cheap.
Yeah, so unless you have anything else for me, that is all.
I know you had mentioned that some of them had very low rates for their water.
Yep.
Did you ask them at all how they get by with that? Are they subsidizing? Or?
So some have a higher fixed meter fee. But, when they have not very many meters, that really doesn't make up for it. But then I asked, I was like, well, what's your wastewater rate? And their wastewater rate was almost over double of what ours is. So I don't know if their cost to treat is different, or if they're using wastewater to pay for water or what, but it was interesting for sure.
They're just shuffling numbers around to make it look good then.
Well, and the surface water, groundwater is a big difference too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for?
No.
Thank you, Brianna.
Okay, thank you.
Jordan.
Morning.
Morning, buddy.
Not too many changes, just a few updates here. Looking at our rebates, primarily AC tune-ups once again. I'm still waiting on those completed applications and spec sheets on those commercial lighting projects we discussed last time. Earlier this month, I met with some MMUA members just on a web call discussing that scholarship, and there was quite a bit of discussion, so we're looking to regroup back in September just to finalize what we want to do going forward. I know they want to use this scholarship as a means to promote the workforce going forward, so there'll be some changes there, but for sure we're going to have something implemented for the spring of 2025 for students. Earlier this week, I registered for the Northern Valley Career Expo with the help of Tyler. He gave me some specs for the equipment and then how many people are going to be attending from Water and Light. So I want to thank him for that. The biggest pieces, I'm still working on that ECO report and then the WAPA IRP report, and those are both going to be completed by next Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. Other than that, we've been working on getting everything situated for the showcase the first week of September. And then I was asked by the EDA to speak on Tuesday just to kind of give a presentation about what I do and what our rebate program entails. Any questions?
No.
Yeah, yes, I have one. Tyler had mentioned about running toilets and whatnot. I know that there's a product out there, it's been out there for many years, and I don't know if it's the valve or if it's the hose with a valve within the hose, but it shuts your water off to the toilet if it's used continuously for a leakage. I know it's been around. There's something about if you stood there and you tried to flush it like 6 times in a row, it would actually shut your water line off to the tank. Nope.
Yeah, it's a leak.
Well, huh?
It's a leak prevention.
Yes, I guess a leak prevention.
It resets every time you hit the flusher. The inner chain goes on.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is maybe there's something if we could find some information on it or whatever, and then maybe I know we have the ability in our billing to insert it on the bill or put a flyer in with it or something. You know, it might help some of the residents out, you know. Like,
Especially the older ones.
yeah, especially the older ones, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So like your snowbirds or that don't shut their water off, you know, that maybe would leave and, you know, so just something like that, so.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into that and see
Okay.
what kind of options we have. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Jordan. Corey, you have anything, bud?
We had already covered the suffers.
Excellent. Mr. Keith, are you talked out today?
Yeah.
Almost.
The only thing I have, yeah, I'm tucked out.
There
The only
you go.
thing I have is MMPA board meeting next Tuesday. So, and as far as update on the renewable project, I think we've already talked about that. So we're waiting on they're evaluating now, so we'll see where it goes from here.
Anything else for Keith?
Nope.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Commissioner reports, anything?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy,
Yes.
Quirk,
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.